The garden that I'm making, I'm doing a square foot garden, but it's not a standard size as far as they're not all 4x8s or 4x12s. Some of them are slightly under 2 feet and they're tiered. So I was trying to think of a way to mark out the square foot sections. Even though it's not necessary, this is something that I wanted to do. But in the past, I've tried the nails on a string, and inevitably I scratched myself on the nails, so I didn't want to put any nails in the sideboards. I also didn't want to use tacks because they have a tendency to rust over time, and the string is just not very durable. It has a tendency to break and sinks into the soil and everything else, and the wood doesn't usually last that long either. So especially if you're using untreated wood, it might last 1 or 2 seasons. So I wanted to come up with something that I could use year after year and was very forgiving about the size of the bed that I have. So I've decided to make individual little squares, and to keep this low cost, I'll be using coat hangers to do it. And what you need to do this with is a scrap piece of board, at least as long as you want the sides. I'm going to be making my squares 11.5 inches instead of 12 inches, just because some of my beds are slightly under 2 feet. So that best accommodates my beds. You'll need a hammer and a couple of nails. This scrap piece of board is not big enough to put the 4th corner on, so I just did these 3 corners and made sure that they were square. You'll need some scissors, electrical tape, and some either wire cutters or pliers for bending the coat hanger. One thing to note before starting this, if you're going to be using coat hangers, is the different sizes of coat hangers. These are the 2 different size coat hangers that I have, and you can tell one is bigger than the other. This big one is the one that I need in order to get 4 feet of metal. This one will end up being too short. So this one is approximately 18 inches from here to here if you're looking for a specific size. When you undo them, align them up together here, you can see how much shorter the other one is. So that will not be long enough to go all the way around all 4 sides. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is start straightening this wire. Okay, now I have a long piece of metal. And now I'm just going to start bending it. Oops. Because I don't have this 4th side, I'm just going to move it. Okay, then when I get to the end, I'll put these 2 pieces on the nails so that I be sure that I get the right length. First, I'm just going to cut a small piece just to tack it together. And I'm going to wrap it together with electrical tape. And just kind of final touch, straighten it out. And I have a very inexpensive grid for my garden. I'll just make several of those. Then when I'm laying them down in the garden, you don't have to lay them side by side like this. It's kind of a waste, but offset them because you already have the two sides. So just lay them like that. If you like these videos, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you for your time.